Hello, Stoney fam. Welcome back to another episode. I was just toking on another bowl of case s'mores. I've been toking on that. I got that a couple days ago at one of my favorite dispensaries. Shout out to Op Top. You guys are awesome. I love every time that I go there. The people are super kind. The products are always amazing, and just the atmosphere and vibe is just really chill, and I really enjoy being in there. So shout out to you guys. But anyway, today we're going to talk about something that I was really interested in. I don't know why it crossed my mind to look it up. I just was like, with everything I kind of do. With everything that's going on with the submersible and everybody talking about the Titanic, it kind of got me looking into more facts about the Titanic. So I was kind of going on like a fixation for the week. And during my research, I had found and come across an article talking about cannabis usage. And I was curious. I was like, wow, I wonder if people were using cannabis on, the Titanic in general, or just like people who used it when they went on there. So I read this article, and it's actually quite interesting, so I thought I would toke and share with you guys. So I'm going to spark up again, and we're going to start talking about it. So cheers, guys. So as we all know, what happened to the Titanic was horribly tragic. It's definitely historical. It's something that we're never going to probably forget about. It's a very sad story, and what happened recently is very, very horrible as well. We're not talking about that stuff today, though. Right now, I'm talking solely about the usage of, cannabis and relating to the Titanic in that time period. So let's start talking about it. So the Titanic, it stays in the news, and it's in the public's mind. It's been talked about, like I've just been saying, and it was the largest, they said, unsinkable ship. It was filled with a lot of celebrities to this day, including all kinds of countesses, artists, and all kinds of jewels. A lot of expensive things were a part of this, a part of the ship as well, on the ship, and people that were very predominant and important, as well as all kinds of different people. And sorry, I paused for a second because I had to check to make sure that my phone was on silent, because I hate when it is on vibrate and then we hear the bloop bloop sounds while I'm trying to talk. So back to it. So as we look back, and I'm questioning now, and people have also, and that's why this article is did the passengers or crew use marijuana? And definitely want to help them too in the last hours, if that was something that they had on them, and if they wanted to relax, or even if they had no idea what was going on, that was probably something that they were using. And so it was probably more likely that they did have cannabis on the ship. So during the Edwardian era, by the way, if I pronounce anything wrong, sorry, my pronunciation is not very good. During the Edwardian era, cannabis was legal and just another tool in the toolbox of all the recreational and herbal stuff that they would use back in the day for medicine. So it was very common to be used. It was commonly termed used as called cannabis, Indian hemp, or ganja, and it was it was also mostly for the most exotic and potent use, they would call it hashish. So when it was broken down and more potent, they had hash. So they'd even established a way of having hash. They didn't just have the regular just plant matter. And hash had grown popular for the very expensive, the rich people. They could afford to have that type of luxury that they would see it as, and they would use it very much so as more like a medicinal type of thing. This guy, or I'm not sure who they are. Anyway, Ottoman Sultan Abdulaziz brought marijuana and pipe products to the 1872 World's Fair to showcase the Ottoman culture. And this made hookahs and Turkish hashish a popular U.S. fad until it was outlawed in the 20s. So if I remember correctly, the ship also was around 1912. So they didn't outlaw it until the 20s. So cannabis was definitely used during that time period. And during the construction of, when they were building the Titanic, you could purchase freaking cocaine. It was used for toothaches. Opium was there. It was packed for freaking infants. They would use it on infants and people in pain, like adults and other ailments. And around the time, too, Coca-Cola was really, really popular. And it was, just sweeping the nation. It also had traces of cocaine in it. We all know about that as well. And Europe was just heading about the soda. And they would have had it first bottling, all the plants that they started bottling. That was in 1919. So that's when they started heavily producing that stuff. And one of the most popular uses that the Edwardian era the people used cannabis for was a foot soak they made with corns. They would use that. They also used it for consumption, bronchitis, asthma, veterinary ingestion, and simple coughs. So they used it a lot for medicine. Queen Victoria, which we all have heard that name probably before, and if you haven't, her name stamps a more conservative era, and she used cannabis at her doctor's request. Her doctor told her to use cannabis to help with her menstrual cramps and for other ailments. Empress Elizabeth of Austria-Hungary, considered to be one of the most beautiful women in Europe, she used it for her ongoing cough. So she used cannabis to help her with her cough. While generally not a fan of medicine, she was more accepting of natural remedies. So she didn't want to take any other type of medicine other than something that was more like a plant or natural medicine. So going way, way, way back, why the fuck is it still illegal in certain places? Why was it outlawed in general? People were using it heavily for medication. I mean, I can understand outlawing like cocaine and other stuff because we found out that that's probably not good. But marijuana, we can see right now, even just talking about this to you guys, that it was definitely beneficial. And it probably helped a lot of these people stay alive for a lot longer. That's my theory about it. But anyway, continuing to talk about this. Going back, cannabis consumers, they saw themselves as more of like a cosmopolitan. Some men believed cannabis to be a female aphrodisiac. The first class passengers were definitely more of a worldly set of people that had collected arts, and they were probably going to be the ones that had good amounts of it or had it all. The wealthier people kind of consumed it, is what I'm reading and kind of understanding about. It was not something like you could easily get your hands on, probably. I'm not 100% sure about that part. That's just my understanding of what I'm reading. But with a cultured and money audience in the first class and second class that had disposable income, it was assured. So second class probably did too. It is almost assured passengers packed cannabis for the trip to help them. So they were going to be on that trip for 7 days. They were going to be using cannabis probably to help with the nausea and the seasickness. So that was like a key reason that they probably brought it. And if they did use it in their final hours, I would see that being very helpful versus just being sober. I think that could help the anxiety, the sad, whatever you're feeling. I can only imagine. And that's all I'm going to say on that part. But it's just interesting to think about how cannabis has really just been in our lives for quite some freaking time, well over hundreds of years. We've had it in our lives, bodies, whatever. And it's interesting also to me to think about, like, what if there was weed on the ship and it just went down with the Titanic? Like, that's kind of interesting to me. I don't know why, but it is. Anyway, I thought I would share that with you guys. And also, something interesting fact, not 100% related. Actually, it's not related at all to cannabis, but it is related to this, what we're talking about with the Titanic. I had read when I was looking into stuff about it that there were dogs that actually survived on the trip. I wasn't aware that there were dogs on the ship at all. It kind of makes sense now that I'm thinking about it. I'm like, well, people had pets, especially the wealthy people. They probably definitely did have dogs with them. I never thought about it, like never until the other day. So I guess several dogs survived the Titanic, 3 small dogs and 2 Pomeranians and a Pekingese. So funny too, when I read that, my first dog I ever had was a Pekingese. His name was Sammy. So it's kind of freaking interesting to read about this stuff, but at the same time, again, like I will say, it is 100% tragic. It is very sad. I don't agree with people, poking and prodding at a gravesite. I think that we should be leaving it alone and take whatever information we already have and just keep reading and looking into that, and whatever we've already preserved, just hold on to that, not keep trying to take more stuff. I think that whatever's left should just stay with the people that had passed away. And it's a very sad, tragic thing that happened recently as well. May all those people rest in peace. And I will be taking a very fat hit for all of them, as well as putting below the link that I had read all this information from, in case you want to read it too, or want to look further into it. I'm going to drop some of that information below. But before I hop off, I want to say I do have some kind of fun stuff that I'll be starting to do soon. I can't say exactly yet what. It's a surprise. But I have a plan for you guys, and I can't wait to share that with you and just kind of put more of a pause on kind of the other things that I was doing, so I can put more focus onto what other things I would like to pursue. But anyway, guys, thank y'all for listening, and next episode I have something else planned to talk to you guys about. And again, like I was just saying, I have some exciting news and things that I want to share with you guys that I've created, but I cannot yet. It will be a surprise. But hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Happy Monday, and happy 4th of July. That is going to be coming in, like a day or so? Yeah, a day. I don't even know what day it is sometimes anymore. Anyway, fam, I hope you all stay stony. Have a wonderful day. Happy holiday, and I'll be back talking with you guys soon. Cheers.